Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am not here with Geeky Sparkles, but we're going to talk about Disney Plus and Netflix and all these other streaming services. They're going to be forced to be honest. They're going to have to be honest. They're not going to be able to lie about their numbers anymore because of the ad-supported tiers. So this is going to be really interesting because you know that Warner Brothers Discovery was recently sued for lying about their subscriber numbers. And, you know, it's really hard to get a straight answer out of these studios as to how their shows and movies are actually performing because we don't have a standardized, company, third-party company measuring this. And when you've got advertisers involved, they want to know that you're being honest. So we're going to talk about this, how these streaming services are going to be forced to be honest. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 276,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We talk about pop culture. We talk about the streaming wars. We talk about the dumbass business decisions behind a lot of this stuff. And we've been talking a lot about streamers and numbers and Disney and Netflix trying to hide their numbers. Now it looks like, HBO Max is doing the same thing because, again, you have to take their word for it. Netflix has said before, they've got their top 10, but we don't know exactly how much every piece of content on their platform is actually performing. You just have to take their word for it. Now, there are companies out there like Parrot Analytics that are kind of looking at the situation being like, this is what we think is the top streaming show this week. And it can vary. I mean, we've done videos talking about Lord of the Rings versus House of the Dragon. And depending on who you ask, Lord of the Rings is either the top show that week or it's like number 4. So there does need to be some sort of standardized metric for measuring this. And when you bring advertisers into it, that's going to force you to be honest. So this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. It was a couple of days ago, but it's not really time sensitive. I just think it's going to be very interesting to see if we see some changes here. With ad tier launches, Netflix and Disney Plus wade further into big data's streaming hazards. Privacy and transparency issues are increasingly coming into focus as the Hollywood giants aim to profit from user info. So I said there's an adage dating back to TV advertising in the 70s. If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. While Netflix and Disney Plus advertising tiers will not be quite free, viewers will be able to subscribe to the service at discounted prices as long as they tolerate ads. So they're also talking about the cookies or lack of cookies. Are cookies a thing? They said the launch arrives as the digital ad industry is mid-evolution. Europe and California have passed data privacy laws. Apple has cracked down on the harvesting of user data on their products. Browsers, including Safari and Firefox, have barred the installation of third-party trackers. And Chrome is going to do that in 2024. Advertisers are searching for new options. Third-party data, the information users indirectly give to companies by granting permission to track what they're viewing, has been the backbone of the online ad ecosystem since the turn of the millennium. It's under fire as big tech responds to regulatory scrutiny. Amid shifting tides, one thing becomes clear. Hollywood giants, including Netflix and Disney Plus, will look to profit off the more reliable troves of personal information that they can directly collect from subscribers, also known as first-party data, with their new streaming tiers. NBC Universal is already looking to capitalize on the move away from third-party data. In January, it launched a first-party identity platform called NBC Unified that enables targeted advertising without the need for cookies. This is kind of like, choose your ad experience. None of the above. You got to pay more for that. In the world of advanced TV and video entertainment, we didn't see a leader, so we had calls to activate first-party data, says John Lee for NBC Universal. He adds that the company is extremely conscious and careful about managing consumer data privacy and security purposes. Disney is going to launch its ad tier at $7.99 a month. Advertising adds serious complexity to any streaming service. Not only does it require an entire stack of technology to host, target, and deliver ads, it also calls for working with a wide range of third parties to help do so regardless of any first-party data. So now they've got third parties getting involved. They said the Disney Plus advertising disclosure page lists 46 companies that will be involved in supporting the data tier. They include service providers like Amazon Web Services, Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, TV Squared, Oracle, Adobe, and Qualtrics. Every single one of those partners could become a source of a data leak. Every one of those partners is going to they're going to have access to the analytics, the actual view count, the actual watch time, right? And what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to bullshit anymore. So it goes beyond, I mean, yeah, the cookies and the whatever. I get that. These streamers are going to be forced to be honest about their viewing numbers, their viewership numbers. They're not going to be able to hide it, especially if you got 46 people, 46 companies involved. They all have access to the data. You can't lie about it. They should just go ahead and YouTube it, and then you can see the view count, on the video. And anyway, Netflix has enlisted Snap executives to run its ad foray, hoping to minimize any potential advertising disruptions or tech issues by leaning on Microsoft. Why would anyone lean on Microsoft if you're trying to avoid tech issues? Here we go. Here it is, guys. Here it is. At least to start, Microsoft is building all the technical infrastructure, developing the ad formats, collecting and managing the data, and selling the ads. But even with Microsoft handling its end of the bargain in-house, Netflix too will inevitably need to give third parties access to data. Advertisers will likely expect to know at some point how their spots perform. So if you're like, hey, She-Hulk is the number one most viewed thing on Disney Plus this week, honest, and your advertiser, say it's, I don't know, BMW, I don't know, Depends, I don't know. They're going to come back and be like, we didn't get a whole lot of views on our ads. And you said it was the most viewed thing on Disney Plus this week. Well, I don't know, guys. Well, it was ad discrepancy and something opting out. And they're going to be like, bullshit. We want our money back. At launch, Netflix is telling marketers it will only offer extremely limited targeting abilities based on geographic location or its most popular shows. But multiple high-level ad world sources expect that to change. It has to. It has to. They're not going to do a multi-million-dollar spend if they don't know who's going to view these ads. I mean, YouTube, you can target freaking everything with video ad spend. And they're going to look at that and be like, well, I know who's watching our ads on YouTube. I don't know who's watching the ads on Netflix. I have no idea. No idea. Kevin Krim, CEO of the advertising data analytics firm Edo, says Netflix does not have to cross over that Rubicon about giving full transparency over their audience numbers yet, but adds that they're going to have to get more comfortable with being more transparent and collaborative with advertisers. I would not spend millions of dollars if I did not know where that money was going. You need some mix of ad impressions and demographics or other info. People want to say, did that ad have an effect? Did it do something? Okay. This is coming from a former marketing executive. Literally, my job depended on whether or not our marketing campaigns performed. The entire department's job depended on whether or not our marketing spend was smart. And I was, part of the team that decided how to spend hundreds of thousands and in a couple cases, millions of dollars in advertising. And we needed results. Like I needed to see that $500,000 that we dropped on that ad campaign, or that we bought one time, we bought a full page ad in a national magazine, and it was a big spend, and we needed to see that it was worth it. And these advertisers are not going to get these major and that was with a mid-level company. I mean, you're not going to get a major advertiser being like, yep, we're just, especially in this economy, they're not going to be like, yep, we're just going to trust you. We're just going to give you millions and millions of dollars, Netflix, and take your word for it. Take your word for it. Everybody's watching Sandman. We'll just take your word for it, and that's not what's going to happen. Consumers are likely unaware of what kinds of data are collected. That's true. People don't even read it. Somebody did, and it was brilliant. Somebody did a comic strip of Apple's terms of service, and they went through and they actually illustrated the whole thing. And it was shocking, like what's actually in there that people don't catch. But I mean, that's just part of the internet. You're on the internet. Your data is out there. I mean, it is. It said streaming companies are going to have to toe the line between being just transparent enough for legal purposes and maintaining plausible deniability on certain practices. Privacy policies are arcane and indecipherable. Consumers may be giving away access to personal information to unknown third-party companies, while platforms continue to leverage the data to shape production decisions. Disney steals all your data. Like, they know everything about you. And it's going to get worse, right? A lot of these streaming companies that people think only sell content, what they're actually doing is profiting off of data and advertising. I'll be honest, one of the companies I worked for, we basically laundered government information. I guess can I say that? I might be able to say that. Government information, yes. We kind of laundered and repackaged and resold government information, company information to the government information to companies. And it was all legal. It was all legal. I mean, it really was. But the average person did not realize like how much of their data could actually be sold. You know, and you know, there's a whole market for it. Like, we literally could go out, we could buy lists, we could buy chunks of data for marketing purposes, for targeting purposes. There are companies out there that specialize in it. And yeah, I don't think people realize, you know, how unsafe they actually are in the internet. But again, my takeaway from this, because I think that you know, we got two different discussions going on here. Consumers don't pay attention. They don't really pay attention to, you know, what information these companies collect about you. But the advertisers sure as hell are going to be very interested in knowing what the actual numbers are. And you're not going to be able to bullshit your subscriber count. You're not going to be able to bullshit, you know, saying a show is very popular. Trust us. Because if the ad views aren't there, they're going to be like bullshit. And if you've got 46 other companies involved, somebody from one of those companies might come out and say, hey, She-Hulk was a huge misfire. You have no idea how badly this show actually performed because we spent a bunch of money on advertising, or we had, you know, an advertising buy come through, and there were like very few views. So good luck with that. I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.